The Galactic Council chamber falls silent as emergency lights pulse across the curved ceiling. 17 species of advanced spacefaring civilizations watch in horror as tactical displays show the Void Dominion's forces overwhelming another defensive line. Ambassador Kilovix, with scaled skin shimmering under the warning lights, steps forward to address the emergency session. We have lost the Orion Arm defenses. The Cetilian colonies are directly in the invasion path, she announces, her translator struggling to keep the dread from her harmonic voice. Our combined fleets have suffered losses exceeding 70%. The High Arbiter, a towering figure with crystalline features, makes an unprecedented proposal. We must request assistance from Earth. Murmurs ripple through the chamber. Humans are respected for their resilience, but considered technologically primitive compared to Council standards. Their diplomats attend Council sessions, but their military contributions have been politely declined for centuries. Hours later, Ambassador Kilovix stands before the United Earth Government's Defense Council in Geneva. Her plea is direct. The Void Dominion will reach your borders within a standard year if we fall. We request any military assistance Earth can provide. Admiral Wei Chen studies the alien diplomat with thoughtful eyes before responding. We will deploy the Fourth Fleet. The alien delegation's translator devices struggle to convey their mixed emotions. Relief, certainly, but also concern. Every Council intelligence report classifies the Fourth as humanity's oldest, least advanced combat fleet. We appreciate any assistance, Ambassador Kilovix responds diplomatically, but perhaps your more advanced fleets. The Fourth Fleet will depart within 48 hours, Admiral Chen interrupts with a knowing smile. They are precisely what this situation requires. As the alien delegation departs, Vice Admiral Santos approaches Wei at the window overlooking Lake Geneva. They expected our newest antimatter cruisers, she observes, watching the alien shuttle rise into the clouds. Of course they did, Wei responds, his reflection grim in the reinforced glass. The Council measures power by technological advancement. They believe our Fourth Fleet is obsolete because it uses fusion drives and physical ammunition. Their loss assessment projections, Santos asks. Their analysts expect we'll lose half the fleet within the first engagement. Wei turns from the window, bringing up a holographic display of 17 massive battleships, scared veterans from conflicts the public has largely forgotten. They're measuring the wrong variables. On the departing shuttle, Ambassador Kilovix reviews the limited data Earth provided about their Fourth Fleet. The vessels appear crude by Council standards, hulking metal behemoths with visible weapon emplacements and armor plating, rather than the elegant energy shields and quantum displacement hulls that define modern warships. They're sending museum pieces, her aide whispers, scrolling through specifications of ships commissioned nearly 70 Earth years earlier. These vessels lack even basic antimatter containment or dimensional phase technology. Kilovix studies the images, her inner eyelids narrowing. Something about the human admiral's confidence troubles her. Council intelligence has catalogued human vessels by energy output, weapons yield, and technological sophistication. By every metric, the Fourth Fleet ranks last among Earth's combat forces. Perhaps that's their only available option, she replies, trying to sound hopeful despite her growing apprehension. Even outdated human ships might delay the Void advance while we evacuate the border worlds. As their shuttle docks with the Council diplomatic vessel, a priority message arrives from Earth. Admiral Chen has requested complete technical specifications of Void Dominion vessels, defensive capabilities, and tactical doctrine. They intend to actually fight, Kilovix realizes aloud, not simply provide evacuation support. With those ships, her aide asks incredulously. Kilovix has served as ambassador to Earth for 23 cycles. She has learned to recognize when humans are at their most dangerous, not when they boast, but when they smile while being underestimated. Transmit everything we have, she orders, and update our tactical assessment of human military capabilities. I suspect we've been measuring the wrong parameters all along. Captain Maya Chen walks through the cavernous hangar of Kuiper Belt Naval Station, her footsteps echoing across the metal floor. Around her, massive ships stir to life. Great behemoths of steel and titanium with visible well blinds and mismatched hull plates. Unlike the sleek vessels of Earth's other fleets, these ships look brutally functional, designed for endurance rather than elegance. The UEA's Providence, her newly assigned command, dwarfs everything else in the dock. Technicians swarm over its hull, removing preservation seals and activating systems that have slumbered for decades. She's not much to look at, Captain, but she'll still be fighting when prettier ships have long surrendered to vacuum, says Commander Ashida, her executive officer, as they board via a rattling personnel elevator. Inside, the Providence reveals its true nature. While the exterior appears almost archaic, the interior buzzes with activity as 5,000 crew members prepare for deployment. Unlike the automated systems of modern vessels, the Providence operates with direct human control at every critical junction. The Council thinks we're sending our weakest ships, Maya tells her senior officers in the briefing room. Admiral Chen hasn't corrected that misunderstanding. The Fourth Fleet was never decommissioned because it was obsolete. It was reserved for exactly this type of conflict. She activates a holographic display showing the Void Dominion's advance. The enemy has extended their supply lines across 12 systems. They expect to face technologically advanced, but logistically dependent opposition. Council ships that need specialized parts, refined antimatter, and complex support networks. A slow smile spreads across her face. We're going to show them something different. Something the galaxy hasn't seen in centuries. A self-sufficient, industrialized war machine that improves with every piece of debris it consumes. Maya strides through engineering decks, where reactor technicians run diagnostics on the fusion plants. These aren't the clean antimatter reactions of newer vessels, but massive thermal containment chambers that can process virtually any hydrogen-bearing material as fuel. Chief Kowalski, how are we looking? She asks the engineering chief, a stocky woman with calloused hands and burned scars across her forearms. Hungry, Captain, Kowalski answers, patting a fuel intake valve affectionately. These old girls haven't had a proper meal in decades. We've loaded enough refined deuterium to reach the conflict zone. But after that, we forage. Maya completes the thought. Just like the old days. Later, in her quarters, Maya reviews the Void Dominion tactical data transmitted by the Council. Their ships favor elegant, efficient designs, each vessel specialized for specific combat roles with minimal redundancy. Their technology outclasses anything in the Fourth Fleet by conventional metrics. A message notification blinks on her screen. Her father, Admiral Wei Chen, appearing in his office back on Earth. The Providence looks ready, he observes, noting the activity visible through her viewport. She is, Maya confirms, though the Council wouldn't think so. According to their classification system, we're bringing museum pieces to fight quantum phase warships. Wei nods, his expression revealing nothing. The Council races evolved past scarcity thousands of years ago. They build ships to showcase technological superiority, not to endure hardship. And we're about to teach them the value of durability. Maya says, studying the schematic of the Providence's layered hull, designed to be repeatedly damaged and repaired with minimal specialized equipment. Just remember why the Fourth Fleet exists, Maya, her father cautions. When every support structure fails, when supply lines are cut, when fancy technology becomes useless without infrastructure. We're the fleet of last resort, she answers, the weight of the responsibility settling across her shoulders. No, Wei corrects her gently. You're the fleet that ensures there is never a last resort. The fleet that never stops coming, never stops fighting, never stops advancing, no matter the cost. As klaxons announce final preparation for departure, Maya clips the schematic to her uniform pocket and heads toward the bridge. The Providence trembles as ancient engines power up, ready to carry humanity's most enduring weapons to war once more. The Cetilian Defense Fleet commander watches with dwindling hope as the human vessels emerge from the jump point. His ships, elegant, advanced craft with energy shields and antimatter weaponry, are being systematically destroyed by the Void Dominion's superior numbers. The humans have arrived, his second announces without enthusiasm. 17 capital ships, old designs according to our database. At least they responded. The commander replies, watching as the bulky human vessels accelerate toward the battlefield with surprising speed. The Void Dominion commander redirects a small portion of his fleet to intercept the humans, a token force for what appears to be token resistance. The Council observers expect a brief, perhaps honorable, last stand from Earth's outdated ships. Instead, they'd witness something extraordinary. The human vessels don't engage with typical energy weapons. The Providence and its escorts launch massive projectiles from railgun batteries that stretch along their hulls. The kinetic weapons, simple in concept but devastating in execution, tear through void shields designed to disperse energy attacks. Impossible, breathes the Cetilian second as they watch a void cruiser split in half from a direct hit. Their primitive weapons shouldn't penetrate advanced phase shielding. They're using physical projectiles, the commander realizes, watching tactical displays track the massive slugs accelerating to fractional light speed. The void defenses are calibrated for energy dispersion, not kinetic impacts. When void vessels adapt in close range, the humans reveal another surprise. Instead of maintaining distance as Council doctrine dictates, they accelerate directly toward the enemy. They're on collision course. The Cetilian commander exclaims, certain he's witnessing a suicide run. But the human ships veer off at the last moment, launching swarms of armored craft that attach to the void vessels like parasites. The Council abandoned boarding actions millennia ago, considering them primitive and inefficient. The Void Dominion, facing an obsolete tactic they have no defense against, suddenly find armored human soldiers cutting through their hulls and fighting in their corridors. On the Providence's bridge, Captain Maya Chen watches the tactical display as boarding teams report successful breaches on 7 void vessels. Marine Commander Singh reports they've reached the engineering section on the Void flagship. Her communications officer announces, they're facing resistance but advancing room by room. Orders Singh to prioritize capturing their navigation data and tactical systems. Maya responds, her eyes on the larger battle space, and remind all boarding teams, we want their technology intact. As the Void forces attempt to regroup, the Providence launches a second wave. Not of weapons, but of specialized salvage vessels that immediately begin attaching to crippled void ships. The Council thought we were bringing an outdated fleet, Commander Ishida remarks, watching their salvage teams begin cutting into a disabled void destroyer. They didn't realize we were bringing a mobile industrial complex with built-in acquisition specialists. Battlefield salvage is a human tradition older than spaceflight. Maya replies as reports of captured technology begin flowing in. We've been taking our enemies' weapons and turning them against their former owners since we were fighting with stone axes. When the engagement ends 3 hours later, the Void forces retreat in disarray, leaving behind crippled vessels that human engineering ships immediately begin to disassemble for useful components. Your tactics, the Cetilian commander tells Captain Chen during their first communication, his translator struggling to convey his mixture of shock and admiration. They are unlike anything in Council military doctrine. That's precisely why they worked, she responds, studying damage reports from her fleet. 7 human vessels show significant hull breaches, but all remain operational. The most effective weapon is the one your enemy has forgotten how to defend against. And the most dangerous adversary, the Cetilian adds, watching human salvage craft strip valuable technology from captured void vessels, may be the one you've been underestimating all along. The Council's Strategic Command gathers aboard the Providence for an unprecedented joint planning session. The alien officers eye the ship's interior with poorly concealed surprise. Where their vessels feature smooth, automated systems controlled by advanced AI, The human ship contains redundant manual controls, physical switches, and thousands of crew members. Your command center seems crowded, observes Fleet Master Ziv Moon, a methane-breathing strategist renowned for brilliant but resource-intensive battle plans. Captain Chen gestures to the dozens of officers monitoring different stations. Every system on this ship can be operated manually if necessary. We don't depend on central computers that can be compromised or power networks that can be disrupted. The Providence's war room slowly fills with Council military representatives, their environmental suits allowing species of diverse biological requirements to share the same space. Holographic displays show the current deployment of void forces across 3 star systems. Our analysis suggests they'll regroup at these coordinates. Fleet Master Ziv Own indicates, highlighting a nebula rich in ionized particles. Their phase shift drives perform optimally in such conditions. We should establish a defensive perimeter here. He traces a wide arc to intercept them when they emerge. Maya studies the display, then shakes her head. We won't be intercepting them. We'll be attacking their supply chain instead. Murmurs ripple through the assembled council officers. A Photrasian admiral, her crystalline exoskeleton glittering under the war room lights, leans forward. Their combat vessels have protection factors exceeding our combined offensive capability. Their supply ships are similarly defended. No military vessel is designed to sustain prolonged, concentrated fire, responds Commander Ishida, bringing up tactical data from their previous engagement. The Void emphasize technological superiority in their combat doctrine, which means they likely follow the same philosophy as the Council, preserving valuable ships rather than risking their destruction. Maya zooms the display to show a captured Void destroyer. We've analyzed their hull composition. Their armor is optimized against energy weapons, layered absorption materials designed to disperse heat and radiation, but against kinetic impacts. She nods to Ishida. The commander activates a simulation showing a railgun projectile striking the captured Void vessel. The armor shatters catastrophically, secondary fragmentation causing cascading damage through vital systems. Your assessment of their tactical doctrine? Maya asks the council strategists. Fleet Master Zivbone hesitates. They will adapt, install kinetic barriers, adjust combat formations. Of course they will, Maya agrees. And when they do, we'll switch to different weapons. The point isn't the specific vulnerability, it's their response to failure. The council strategists watch in growing understanding as human officers demonstrate their simulation. When faced with critical systems damage, Void commanders, like their council counterparts, follow standard doctrine. Preserve the valuable vessel at all costs, even at the expense of tactical position. You intentionally target their retreat protocols, the Photrasian admiral realizes. Force them to withdraw undamaged vessels alongside damaged ones. We don't fight to destroy their ships, Maya confirms. We fight to exhaust their operational capacity. Every vessel withdrawn for repairs is temporarily removed from their combat strength. A grim silence falls over the council representatives as the implications become clear. Council warfare evolved toward minimal casualties and resource expenditure. Elegant battles decided by technological superiority and tactical finesse. Human warfare evolved toward sustainable attrition and relentless pressure. We would consider such an approach inefficient, Fleet Master Zivvon finally comments. Maya's expression remains neutral, but her eyes reflect the hard lessons of Earth's military history. There's a difference between efficiency in peace and efficiency in war. In peace, we measure by resources preserved. In war, we measure by objectives achieved, regardless of cost. The planning session continues late into the ship's artificial night, as two fundamentally different approaches to warfare slowly, painfully, begin to align toward a common goal. 3 weeks into the campaign, the Cetilian support vessels fail to arrive at the rendezvous point. Void forces have cut the supply lines, leaving the council ships with dwindling resources and limited operational capacity. We must retreat to the inner systems, Fleet Master Ziv Owen announces grimly during the daily briefing. Without specialized components and antimatter refinement, our vessels will be combat ineffective within 7 standard days. Captain Chen exchanges glances with her logistics officer. Perhaps you'd like to visit our support vessels first. The shuttle carrying the council delegation approaches what appears to be an asteroid field. As they draw closer, the asteroids resolve into massive industrial structures, mobile factories that dwarf even the Providence. The largest, UES Forge, stretches nearly 5 kilometers from end to end, its surface bristling with docking arms, processing vents, and cargo hatches. By the first light, whispers Ambassador Kilavix as their shuttle enters a cavernous landing bay. This isn't a warship at all. Inside the forge, automated assembly lines process raw materials harvested from actual asteroids and debris from destroyed vessels. Robotic arms construct hull plating while massive foundries pour molten metal into waiting molds. Human workers in environment suits guide the operations, making adjustments that require intuition rather than programmed responses. "You're manufacturing replacement parts?" asks Ambassador Kilavix in amazement as she watches a freshly minted shield generator being loaded onto a transport. "Components, ammunition, fuel, and soon, replacement vessels," explains Chief Engineer Rodriguez. Her face bears a network of old burn scars, and her hands move constantly, checking systems on her datapad while directing workers with practiced gestures. "The Fourth Fleet doesn't need supply lines. We're designed to operate indefinitely in hostile territory, consuming resources as we advance." The Council delegation watches a salvage ship dock with its precious cargo, captured void technology and debris from destroyed vessels. Rather than discarding enemy equipment as incompatible, human engineers immediately begin reverse engineering critical components, adapting void technology to strengthen their own systems. This approach seems. Fleet Master Ziv Owen searches for a diplomatic word. "Inelegant," offers Rodriguez with a smile. "We prefer adaptable." The Fourth Fleet wasn't built to showcase technological superiority. It was built to endure and overcome through industrial capacity and human ingenuity. They pass through a section where technicians carefully disassemble a void energy projector, scanning each component and feeding the data into fabrication systems. "You're copying their technology," observes a Photrajan engineer, her crystalline appendages clicking with surprise. "Improving it," Rodriguez corrects. "Their energy distribution system is more efficient than ours, but their cooling systems are overcomplicated. We're combining the best of both designs." As they continue the tour, Ambassador Kilavix notices something unexpected: Council technology integrated into human systems. A Cetilian power regulator connected to a human-designed shield emitter. A Photrajan sensor array linked to human targeting computers. "You've adapted our technology as well," she notes. "All technology is just applied knowledge," Rodriguez responds, leading them toward a massive chamber where something unexpected is taking shape, and knowledge belongs to whoever can best use it. The chamber contains a partially completed vessel, but not one of human design. The distinctive curves of a council cruiser are slowly being reconstructed, with human modifications clearly visible in its armor plating and weapons mounts. "Is that?" Fleet Master Ziv Owen trails off, unable to complete the question. "The Resolute Dawn," Captain Chen confirms, naming a council battlecruiser lost in the previous engagement. 70% of her structure was recoverable. We're rebuilding her with some improvements. By the time the delegation returns to the Providence, the human support ships have already begun manufacturing compatible power cells for the stranded Council vessels. The message is clear. While Council ships depend on complex supply chains, the Fourth Fleet creates its own solutions from whatever resources are available, including the wreckage of friend and foe alike. The Void Dominion adapts their strategy, capturing a key jump gate that controls access to the Proxima Centauri system. Council military doctrine considers this a decisive blow. Without the gate, reinforcement would take months through conventional space. We must negotiate for access or surrender the system, announces the Cetilian commander during the emergency council. Captain Chen studies the star charts quietly before responding, or we could just go around. The council representatives stare in disbelief as she outlines a plan to traverse normal space at relativistic velocities, bypassing the gate entirely. What would be a 10-day journey through the gate becomes a 3-month voyage through regular space, a delay council races would find unacceptable, but that the self-sufficient human fleet handles with calm determination. Your crews would accept such isolation? Asks Ambassador Kilovix, knowing that council species would consider such isolation psychologically damaging. 3 months is nothing. Maya responds. The original missions that established our colonies lasted years. Some of our generation ships traveled for decades before reaching their destinations. Preparation for the journey reveals another aspect of human vessels that confounds council engineers. Their ships are designed to be reconfigured while in service. Over the course of 2 days, the Providence and its escorts shed unnecessary armor, streamline their profiles, and convert secondary weapon systems into additional propulsion. Your vessels transform, observes Fleet Master Zivun, watching dockworkers remove sections of hull plating. Our ships are constructed as integrated units. To modify them requires returning to specialized facilities. Modularity is survival, explains Commander Ishida as he oversees the reconfiguration. A vessel that cannot adapt to changing conditions becomes obsolete the moment the battlefield evolves. When a council advisor suggests waiting for reinforcements from their core worlds, Maya shakes her head. The longer we delay, the more entrenched the void becomes. They're counting on exactly that response. Time works in their favor if we follow conventional doctrine. But traveling through normal space at relativistic speeds, the Cetilian commander gestures helplessly. The navigational challenges alone are substantial, Maya acknowledges, but not insurmountable. We've done this before. In the final briefing before departure, Maya addresses the combined human and council crews. The council allies have committed their remaining vessels to travel alongside the Fourth Fleet, a decision that required overriding centuries of operational protocols. We're about to attempt something the Void will consider impossible, Maya tells them, her voice carrying through the Providence's cavernous main hangar. That assumption is our greatest advantage. While they focus on defending the gate, we'll emerge behind their lines, striking targets they believe are safely beyond our reach. As the fleet prepares for departure, Maya receives a private message from the High Arbiter, the first direct communication from the Council's supreme leader to a human commander. Captain Chen, our military historians have been researching human warfare. The crystalline being states, multifaceted eyes reflecting starlight. They discovered a concept from your ancient naval traditions that appears relevant to your current strategy. What concept would that be? Maya asks. Something called crossing the T, positioning one's fleet to fire broadsides against an enemy who can only use forward weapons. By bypassing the gate, you will achieve this position against the Void forces. Maya allows herself a small smile. That's a very old naval tactic, but yes, the principle applies. The Void expects a frontal assault through the gate. Instead, we'll catch them in an enfilade position, with their forces deployed in the wrong direction. 3 days later, the fleet departs, accelerating to speeds that turn stars into streaks of light outside the viewports. While the Void Dominion fortifies the jump gate with their most powerful vessels, the Fourth Fleet and their council allies vanish into the darkness of interstellar space, taking the long way around to deliver an unexpected blow. The Void Dominion, reeling from the unexpected arrival of human and council forces behind their defensive line, launches a desperate attack on the Fourth Fleet's support vessels. They manage to destroy 2 of the industrial ships in a surprise assault, expecting to cripple the human war effort. To their surprise, the Fourth Fleet continues operations without interruption. The remaining support ships simply increase production, and combat vessels begin cannibalizing damaged sections to repair others. Damage report, Maya demands as the Providence shudders under enemy fire. The bridge lighting flickers to emergency red as power fluctuates through damaged conduits. Hull breaches on decks 4 through 7, reports Commander Ishida, his uniform singed from manually extinguishing an electrical fire. Railgun Battery 3 is offline. Reactor 2 is running at 60% capacity. Reroute power from auxiliary systems. Maya orders. And get damage control teams to seal those breaches. Her eyes scan tactical displays where Void forces concentrate fire on the UES Vulcan, one of their crucial support vessels. The Vulcan's outer hull glows incandescent under sustained energy weapon bombardment. Standard naval doctrine, both human and Council, would call for immediate withdrawal of such a valuable asset. Instead, the Vulcan deploys dozens of armored panels from its underside, creating a defensive barrier of disposable material. Behind this temporary shield, the support ship continues manufacturing replacement parts, even as its outer sections burn away. Remarkable, murmurs the Cetilian observer on Providence's bridge. They've adapted their industrial capacity to produce their own defensive systems during combat. During the counterattack, a Cetilian battlecruiser suffers catastrophic damage, its antimatter containment systems failing. By Council doctrine, the ship would be abandoned and scuttled. Instead, human engineering teams board the vessel, improvising repairs with materials never designed for such advanced systems. This is impossible. The Cetilian chief engineer protests as humans bypass sophisticated diagnostic systems with mechanical gauges and direct observation. These systems cannot function without quantum-aligned processors. The processors just make it easier to control the reaction, responds Chief Rodriguez as her team installs manually operated coolant valves. The physical principles remain the same. Antimatter containment is just fancy refrigeration when you get down to it. When Void forces deploy electronic warfare against the remaining Council ships, the humans demonstrate their unique approach once more. They distribute physical, printed manuals for operating Council technology manually, bypassing compromised systems entirely. Your species prepares for failure in ways we never considered. Ambassador Kelavix tells Captain Chen as they watch human engineers teaching Council crews to operate their own technology without computer assistance. We design our systems to never fail. You design yours to fail gracefully and recover quickly. The difference, Maya responds, between seeing setbacks as defeats or as opportunities to adapt. On the Providence's engineering deck, Maya finds Chief Kowalski supervising the integration of salvaged Void power relays into human systems. Will it work? Maya asks, eyeing the mismatched components with skeptical interest. Kowalski shrugs. Not as well as it would if we had proper converters. Efficiency is down around 60%. But it'll work. 60% of something beats 100% of nothing, Maya observes. That's the Fourth Fleet motto, isn't it? Kowalski grins, her face streaked with coolant fluid. We make do. We adapt. We overcome. As the battle enters its 14th hour, Void commanders notice something disturbing. While their vessels accumulate damage and gradually lose combat effectiveness, the human ships seem to regenerate, patching breaches, rerouting systems, and returning damaged weapons to functionality through field repairs that should be impossible under combat conditions. A Void destroyer targeting the Providence receives a direct hit from a railgun, the kinetic penetrator severing its main power spine. As emergency systems engage, Void sensors detect something unexpected. Human boarding craft, already latching onto their hull, carrying not just soldiers but engineering teams ready to claim the damaged vessel as a resource rather than simply a target to destroy. 6 months into what the Council had expected to be a short, losing campaign, the combined fleet achieves what had seemed impossible, the complete withdrawal of Void forces from Council space, not through technological superiority or brilliant strategy, but through a war of attrition that the Void, for all their advancement, could not sustain. In the final confrontation, the Void commander opens communication channels. To the surprise of the Council representatives, they address not their counterparts but Captain Chen. Your vessels are inferior in every measurable aspect. The Void Commander states, their translated voice carrying genuine confusion. Your weapons are primitive, your shields inefficient, your technology obsolete. By any rational assessment, you should have been defeated. Maya's response becomes legendary in council records. You built your military to win engagements. We built ours to win wars. Your ships were designed never to fail. Ours were designed to fail and keep fighting anyway. The Providence's bridge falls silent as the Void Commander considers this. The once pristine human vessel now bears the scars of countless battles, patched hull sections, mismatched components, and jury-rigged systems that somehow function despite violating every principle of elegant engineering. You have fought irrationally. The Void Commander finally responds. You have sacrificed vessels that could have been preserved. You have expended resources without strategic necessity. No, Maya counters. We've recognized different strategic necessities. Every ship we sacrificed achieved an objective worth more than the vessel itself. Every resource we expended weakened your position more than it weakened ours. As the Void Fleet begins its withdrawal from Council space, Ambassador Kilavix observes the human crew's reaction. Where Council officers would celebrate victory with ceremony and reflection, the Providence's personnel simply shift to repair operations. Damage control teams move through the ship, assessing and prioritizing the most critical systems for immediate attention. You do not celebrate your victory, she asks Maya. The job isn't finished, the captain responds, reviewing repair schedules. We still have ships to fix, crew to heal, and systems to restore. As the Fourth Fleet prepares to return to Sol, the Council races reassess their understanding of humanity. The High Arbiter personally visits the Providence, now bearing honorable battle scars across its hull. We had classified your species as an emerging technological civilization, the crystalline being admits to Captain Chen. We now recognize this was a fundamental misunderstanding. Your approach to warfare, indeed, to survival itself, represents a different but equally valid evolutionary path. In a private meeting with Admiral Chen, the High Arbiter asks why Earth designated the Fourth as their least powerful fleet when it proved so effective. The Admiral smiles diplomatically. The Fourth is our most durable fleet, but also our least advanced by certain metrics. Our other fleets are optimized for different scenarios. As the Providence leads the battered but triumphant Fourth Fleet home, Captain Maya Chen walks through the ship's memorial hall, where photos of fallen crew members line the walls. Despite the victory, the human cost has been substantial, a reality the Council races are only beginning to understand about their new allies. They think we won because we had better strategy, she tells Commander Ishida as they observe a repair crew patching the ship's hull. But we won because we were willing to bleed more, work harder, and endure longer. That's humanity's real superpower, Ishida responds, watching as the welding sparks illuminate the tired but determined faces of the crew. Not what we build, but what we're willing to sacrifice to preserve what matters. As the Earth grows larger in the viewports, the Fourth Fleet returns not as obsolete relics, but as legendary vessels, having demonstrated to the galaxy that humanity's true strength lies not in technological advancement, but in their unmatched capacity for adaptation, sacrifice, and indomitable persistence.